a patch 14.18 rundown. How will jungle be affected by this world's patch is what I'm really going to be focusing on here. How will some of these jungle changes, you see Jarvan, Viegos, and Zhao's here, some of these nerfs like Lilia, they have Maokai in there. I mean, Nasus is getting nerfed. I've seen some Nasus jungle, but we'll go through everything and we'll just target how this affects jungle specifically. So first things first, we have Ahri. Ahri is getting a little bit of a buff on her E. Her E will do more damage as you put more points into it. It's going to be really helpful for the AP ratio is also increased. It's going to be really helpful for those mid lane Ahri players. If you have an Ahri on your team, you feel like Ahri's lack damage, this will sort of change the nature of that as the game progresses. But nothing too big for that. It's obviously probably going to help Faker a lot. We have Gnar here, plus 3 AD. If you see a Gnar in your game and you've thought, fuck, I hate this champ, now you're going to really want to hate this champ. Plus 3 AD as Gnar, when you're already an impressive champion once you get level 3, it's going to be actually insane. And we got Hui support with a little bit of a change here, 50 to 75% on the shielding. It's actually really important to think about because when you're 2v2ing mid lane with your Hui, or you're fighting a 3v3 bot side with your Hui support potentially, even a Hui ADC, the shield is actually going to get a pretty significant change here. 25% is a pretty big amount here. It's going to feel good, so just keep that in mind. Hui's shield will be pretty nice. We have Jarvan's passive going from 7 to 8%. So this is what I really want to talk about here. Jarvan was really weak in the past. The reason why is they nerfed Jarvan and they removed Goredrinker from the game. If you guys did not know, Jarvan's Q and E, the cooldown got extended. So they hard nerfed his Q and his E, and then they reverted that change. And it's been sort of going under the radar entirely. This buff is not necessary. Jarvan's in a great spot, but with this buff, he's pretty much back to normal. Back when Agurn hit rank 1 in Korea, back when I hit rank 2, Jarvan is in a great position now. I absolutely recommend Jarvan. You go Eclipse, Ionian Boots, Sunrise Sky, Spirit Visage, or Frozen Heart. You want that CDR so you can spam your EQs. I don't 100% know what's going on with Jax. We're just going to breeze past through Jax. Let's take a look at Jace. Jace is one of these champs where his Q slow is getting increased by 5% at the end. It's not too big. And the E is also getting increased by 5%. Not going to change much. Jace is really one of those still powerful champions. He's going to do a lot of damage no matter what. The Jinx buff is what's going to be really annoying here. The attack, the growth on the attack speed here is just like kind of questionable. I'm not sure why they wanted to do that. Jinx is going to be scaling even harder than ever before, which is quite annoying. It is what it is. Lulu here, her passive damage gets increased by 2 based, and then that's pretty much it. So she's going to be more oppressive in lane. If you think about it, this could mean Lulu mid, Lulu top. We could see this back in pro play. And you might see this in solo queue. If you see this in pro play, you will see in solo queue. So if you're a jungler, you're one of those power farm junglers, hyper carries, those kindreds, you might see it because this, I can imagine, helps Lulu lane by a little bit. Maybe not. Maybe they're sort of seeing. Maybe they're playing around with this. Don't be surprised if you do see it. See someone try it. Malphite passive shield from 9% to 10%. Okay, Malphite's just getting a random buff. I don't know why. Malphite's gonna be annoying no matter what. Irrelevant here. Malphite's lane would be better. We're also going to see some probably more. We're probably going to see more Jinx and Lulu together. These champions are really powerful as a pair. They always have been. Okay, let's take a look at Samira. So Samira's Q is staying the same. The base is staying the same, but the bonus AD ratio is increased. So it's going to end at 125% no matter what at the end, but it starts off by a little bit more. So Samira is going to do a little bit more damage with her Q, which is going to help her out big time. Because Samira is one of those early game snowballers you want to play with Alistar, Nautilus, Rel, and you want to get those fights in the early game. So this is going to really help Samira out. We might see some more Samira in pro play. And if your Samira's ever lack damage, you're the jungler, you're playing around it, then your Samira is going to feel very strong relative to before. Alright, Shen's passive. The shield is the same base, but it increases by 13%, and the base at the end has gone up by, 19 HP. So Shen is going to be even more oppressive in lane. We're not going to see any Shen jungle or anything, because there's no jungle changes for that just yet. We'll see. Maybe down the road in the future. They love that. But Shen's passive, Shen's lane is going to be really annoying. Very strong champion already in lane, and now even stronger because the passive got a good buff. So all these buffs so far have been really world focused. Obviously, it's the world's patch. It makes sense. This is not really solo queue orientated until we get to this one, which Viego is a world's champion as well. But let's take a look here. The base AD on Viego has gone from 57 to 60, and the Q bonus monster damage has gone from 20 to 15. I think these will sort of balance out. Your clear is going to feel a little slower for sure, but overall these sort of balance each other out. The only difference is Viego is now capable of fighting skirmishes and having a higher chance of winning. I think if you've ever felt like Viego is weak in early game skirmishes, which sometimes I feel that way, if you guys feel like this is going to change that big time. Your Q is going to do a lot more damage, R is going to do a lot more damage in the actual fights, and the only thing is you might get hit on the clear by a little bit. I don't think it's going to change too much, but you will feel that clear difference on your Q. Take a look at Xin Zhao. The Xin Zhao armor growth from 4.7 to 5.0 means you're only getting like 1.8 more armor towards like until the end of the game. It's not that big of a difference. 0.3 doesn't change too much because you just multiply that by like 18. You're gonna get like so you're gonna get like 3 more armor at the end of the game. Like, it's not too big of a difference. It might feel like a good amount, but Xin Zhao will be a bit tankier, I guess. Might be a little bit more annoying, but the real interesting thing is the Q bonus damage per hit. So the Q now is going to get increased by 16 when you put 5 points into it, and the max damage is also increased by around 40. It's 48 damage. So normally you max W and then you go E on Xin Zhao. With this Q damage change, you might actually go W into Q, which might feel a bit stronger for Xin Zhao because of this buff. So we might see a little bit of a change here. Not too much happening in the jungle. Again, Jarvan, we'll see a lot of that. Viego, I think will be actually stronger. I think this is actually a buff for sure. That's why it's in the buff section, of course. And Xin Zhao might have a little more playability with W into Q. Alright, let's take a look at the nerfs here. Aurora, the R jump max distance is reduced from 450 to 250. So this is like, they're finally making Aurora's ult not so broken. Really good Aurora players make this ult fucking insane. So before Worlds patch, this is beautiful. The R duration going from 3.5 to 4 seconds, now to 2.5 to 3. Aurora is going to fucking feel that. If you ever feel like Aurora is broken in your game and the R is just so powerful, well, now it's not going to feel as OP. Alright. You can't really go through walls anymore. So just overall, this is going to feel amazing for if you play against Aurora. Azir is actually getting a bit of a hit here. The R damage is getting increased by 15% on the AP ratio and by 25 base, then 75, then 125, which is incredible for the Azir ulti damage. Obviously, Azir's going to still do what he wants, but the damage that you lose really sucks. Corki's finally getting nerfed. If you ever had Corki in your game, fuck that champion. I hate Corki mid, hate Corki's all around. I hate watching that. But the Q is getting nerfed by a little bit of damage. It's not going to hurt him too much because it's still going to be oppressive in lane, but it's okay. It's a bit of a nerf. We take those. We take anything. Any of these range champions, we take those. Ivern nerf, good for the game, I think. I think Ivern's one of those champions that, like, really weird jungler, really weird style, and honestly, I hate this champion. I had to play it in pro play. It was just not fun. Lost 10 HP on the shield, and the slow has been reduced. I think this is the big part that makes Ivern broken. The shield's great, but slowing for 40%, 45% is insanely broken. Now we're going to reduce that by 5%. You're going to feel that by a bit. The damage also helps. Leona armor reduced by 4, which is pretty good. Leona's still going to be a tanky motherfucker, but now you're going to feel like you can kill her a little bit easier. This is the biggest change on the patch so far through jungle champions. There's one big change going on with turrets that I do want to talk about later on that will affect jungle. But for now, let's just take a look at Lilia here. The Lilia R sleep duration is gone from 2 to 2.5 to 2.25 to 2.5 to a flat 2. Which means Lilia scales, of course, it's the champion, but she doesn't get more R cooldown, R sleep duration, which really is going to affect Lilia as a power tool, as a powerhouse. She'll still be strong, not as strong. But I think this is a solid nerf against Lilia. And the passive monster damage cap from 70 to 100 to flat 65, you will feel that in your clear. So they're finally getting rid of Lily as a broken jungler. She'll still be strong. Her movement speed is great. Overall, her damage is great, but she's going to definitely get hit. This is going to be probably it for Lilia, I'll be honest. Lissandra getting a little bit of a nerf. QAP ratio 85-75%. Not too big to worry about. Maokai E cooldown from 16 to 18. Adding 2 straight seconds. So before they buffed Maokai, they made Maokai strong, and then they just straight up gutted this. The E brush duration would increase by a bit based on your bonus HP. Now they made it 1.5% of your bonus HP. 2.5% to 1.5%. So honestly, Maokai, it's not what makes Maokai broken at all, but it's just like, it just sucks for Maokai as a champion. Maokai is obviously the biggest tool for Maokai's ultimate. 5 fucking big trees going at you. Really good for team fights. But this E nerf sort of just sucks. It's just a quality of life thing for Maokai that just absolutely sucks. It's also going to hard affect Maokai in the lane. This is a big thing for Maokai in the lane. Misfortune 80, 55 to 53. It's going to hurt her in the lane. I think Misfortune's in a solid spot. I think Misfortune will still be in a solid spot, but honestly, I don't think it's too big to worry about. If Misfortune's being played, it's for the composition anyway. All right, let's take a look at Nasus. This is the biggest nerf for lanes, I believe. The Nasus E nerf. Your damage is going to be decreased at the end. Just straight up losing 5 damage base, and then over time losing 45 damage. And then the E DPS is going down by 1, and then another 9 at the end. And then the E max damage is also going down. So overall, the E on Nasus is going down. And the reason why is because if someone tried fighting Nasus in lane, you would just chuck E's at them. Chuck E, and then they can't really do anything. And now the damage you deal from Nasus is not going to be as big, which is great because you might be able to poke out the Nasus some more in lane. I think we will still see this guy being played in pro play. Really annoying champ, but let's move on to Rel here. So Rel's E move speed has been reduced by 3% at the end. Big nerf for Rel's engage, and then the just overall the max move speed also got nerfed, which is just like, damn, Rel is going to have a hard time engaging by a bit. It's still going to be OP, of course, but it's going to suck by a little bit. Let's take a look at Rumble here. So Rumble, this looks pretty complicated. Pretty much the big thing you want to look at here is the arrows right here. So pretty much Rumble's Q has lost 20 damage on the base. It still scales. Has lost 10 AP on the percentage. And the max HP still stays the same. But in lane, the Q is going to fucking suck now. Level 1, level 2, level 3. Still strong, but it hurts the champion big time. People don't even normally start Q. People start E. E is also getting a big hit, losing 10 straight up damage. So now Rumble in lane won't be as oppressive. Still be broken. You don't use mana. You're pretty much a ranged melee champion that does incredible amount of damage, but not gonna get hurt as hard. Smolder nerf. Let's take a look here. Again, look at the arrow. So it's lost 5 damage on the Q. Thank God, I hate this champion. And the AP ratio has been removed. So Smolder, if you've ever seen this hybrid build, these weird builds on Smolder, that shit's gone now. Or at least, pretty much that's just like not gonna be as powerful. Your W and your R I still believe are AP, but still happy that they removed the AP ratio and they reduced the Q damage by 5. The W has gone a little 5 damage nerf as well. It's good for Worlds. And Smolder is too powerful right now. Varus here has lost 20% straight up on the Q. Beautiful. And 10% on the ratio. Oh, sorry, these are the ratios. 10% on the ratio of the E. So Varus is also getting hit. Beautiful. Thank you, Riot. If I see Varus just roll in my games, I'm freaking out, but now this is finally in a good spot. Vi nerf. Unfortunately, they just like buff Vi and then nerf Vi. I think this is like pretty valid. Honestly, Vi is in a great spot, and Vi losing 10 damage, I think they just brought her back to where she was. I think it makes sense. I think Vi has always been in a great spot, and they had no need to buff Vi, so they're just changing it. Looking at the Zeri nerf, I'll just quickly look at this. Like, lost 4% on the max HP target on her passive, lost a lot of damage on her regular passive damage. Goodbye, Huncho. Goodbye, Jungle Zeri. Thank fucking God. We don't want to see this shit ever again. And I'm not gonna read the rest of that, guys. I'll be honest. It just has it's just like something to do with your stat growth. Like, Instead of it being 4.3% and 110, it's now 3.9. All you need to know, guys, is Zeri in the jungle should probably get hit hard because the clear is going to suck. And overall, just Zeri's damage seems to be getting hit by a pretty good amount. Ziggs, this nerf right here, 25%. Sorry, 75%. Thank God. Because Ziggs, back in the day, can just completely eviscerate turrets. Now, I'm not going to have a great time doing that. Okay, we also took a little bit of a hit on the AP ratio, which is amazing. So this is nice for Ziggs. This is a nice quality of life thing. Now let's take a look at some of the more important things going on here. The Ludens is going to get decreased, but you lose some haste, and you gain some AP. So honestly, this is sort of balancing out the item. Sure. Shadowflame's going to lose some AP, but gain some pen. This is going to be great for Shadowflame. We might see Shadowflame some more. Cinder Bloom threshold is going to be increased by 5%. So Shadowflame as an item might just be a bit more broken. I think this is pretty nice for Shadowflame. Storm Surge is going to gain 5 pen as well. And lose some move speed. I think the move speed is what made Storm Surge great to snowball the game. So losing some move speed, kind of unfortunate. And the threshold got decreased as well. So this is going to be great to proc the I believe this is a good thing. I could be reading the things wrong, but I think this is an okay thing because you get that move speed or the damage. But I could be wrong. I'm not fully understanding of this. Maybe only guys can explain that to me in chat or in the description. But regardless, some AP items have been changed. Let's take a look at the big thing that I want to look at here, which is the turret bulwark change and the turret fortification change. So you guys have been watching Worlds of Pro Play, you know there's been a lot of lane swaps. So this is to directly impact that. So the permanent resistance per destroyed turret plate is increased by 10. So pretty much that's going to be plus 40 total, which is actually directly contradicting to the temporary resists when enemy champions are around. So overall, it sort of balances out. But if there are 3 to 4 turrets being destroyed, or 3 to 4 plates being destroyed, they will have 30 to 40 extra stats. So that's going to be harder for the minions to break it. But what they've changed here is the resists you get per champion actually goes down by 25 per champion. So if you're a jungler and you come hit a turret with your laner, normally it's going to be a very, very strong turret, but now it's actually going to be not as strong. So these balances sort of change out. At around 3 plates, it's like even. And around 3 to 4 plates that you've taken, if you're hitting the turret with just your 2 champions, that's when I believe it sort of evens out. But regardless, this is a pretty good change. I think we'll see how this plays out. For junglers trying to hit turrets with their team. But the big thing is the damage reduction for the turrets for the first 5 minutes. 75% to 85%. If you've ever hit a turret pre-5 minutes, you're already trolling. If you now hit it, you are griefing. So you guys did not know the mid and top turret have this damage reduction for the first 5 minutes of the game. I don't believe bot turret has it unless they change that and I missed the change. But pretty much don't hit the turret pre-5 minutes. To waste your time. Bit of a change here from Fleet Footwork. Overall, the melee champions get a bit more of a buff here. Great. Let's just take a look at the minion heal. So it goes down a little bit, but the move speed is gone up. So Fleet is amazing, in an amazing position. And if we look at the ranged, Fleet has just gotten nerfed for late game for ranged champions. Gotten buff overall for melee champions. And ranged champions do get a little bit more HP from killing minions, which is cool. But the heal at the end, like, sort of got hit pretty hard regardless. It just kind of sucks. So I would say it's a nerf for ranged champions, buff for melees. You look at Bloodthirster here, lost 3% of lifesteal. The shield also got hit pretty hard. It looks like when you get your shield at this level, the value has gone down, it looks like. So just overall the shield on Bloodthirster has gone down, which is a hard nerf to the shield. So Bloodthirster just got hit pretty hard. Bloodthirster just got nerfed. So Bloodthirster got nerfed, Fleet Footwork got nerfed, ADCs are feeling great. Beautiful day to be alive as a jungler. amazing. So if you're in solo queue, you see a guy with Bloodthirster or Fleet Footwork gets ADC, just have a smile on your face now, knowing that they want to end their game. They want to quit. And if you look at Shield Bow got a big nerf for melee champions and a fucking big nerf for range champions. So they're just saying, fuck range champions, fuck the ADCs, let's buff champions like Yasuo and Yone, or whoever builds Shield Bow, or you use Fleet Footwork. So, awesome stuff for Riot. Overall, the biggest changes in the jungle here, guys, are going to just be the Lilia nerf, the Jarvan buff, and the Viego/Xin Zhao change. Maokai doesn't really matter. We don't care too much about him. And just how the turret fortification and the bulwark will impact the first 5 minutes and then later on in the game. Honestly, if I'm understanding this correctly, it would just be easier to kill turrets. I'll be so honest here. It'll just be easier if I'm understanding this nerf correctly. Or this changed that correctly. And overall, Fleet Footwork in the jungle, we might see it a lot more because of the buff you get and the more move speed. The move speed you get, 5% more move speed, means you can clear insanely quick. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed this sort of patch rundown. I'll also be doing a tier list really soon. I know we never do these types of videos, so let me know if you did enjoy. If you did enjoy it at all, then please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.